Ball drop. I don't know if y'all can hear that outside. Fireworks, people yelling and screaming and wooing. Happy New Year, peeps. Happy New Year, all my peeps. Comic Book University alumni. It's time. It's time. It is now 2020. Now that's 2020. I'm going to do a couple comic book reviews up in here. What do you say? What do you say, right? All right, let's get talking about these two latest Dawn of X books. We have got the X-Men issue number 4, and we've got Marauders issue number 5. Both of them fantastic, amazing, astonishing, uncanny comic books. Let's get talking about these. We have got X-Men number 1, or excuse me, number 4 for the first one. Cyclops, Magneto, Charles Xavier, Apocalypse, and Gorgon are all in this book. And Jonathan Hickman is the writer. Lanil Francis Yu on art, inks Jerry Alguilan and Lanil Francis Yu. Color art by Sonny Rowe. VC's Clayton Cowles doing the letters, and the design is by Tom Mueller. Lanil Francis Yu and Sonny Rowe did the cover, and Jesus Abertov with Belen Ortega did the variant cover. Okay, this issue is called Global and Economics. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created the X-Men. Now, I love the title of this book because that's pretty much exactly what this is. Most of this book is just Magneto talking and Cyclops whooping butt. That's pretty much all that this comic book is. All right. You have Professor X, Magneto, and Apocalypse going to this summit in Davos, Switzerland. That's actually very fitting. That's where not too long ago, I think it was before a full 12 months ago, so maybe 6 to 8 months ago, there's this dude, I don't even know who it was, but he went to one of these summits. It's just all these rich people. All of a sudden, all these people just, wow, hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. It's still, you're obviously not on the East Coast. And Raven, geez, it's been it's been freaking New Year's for 12 hours now for this guy. But what's going on, everybody? Yes, Happy New Year to everybody. Everybody indeed. Raven, I love, what do you call it? They in Suicide Squad issue number 1, which just came out 2 weeks ago. They actually have a character called Thylacine in there. And that's fun. And I knew exactly what a thylacine was because of your name. So like I was just like Raven Thylacine. I know what Raven is. What's a thylacine? And okay, interesting. Very knowledgeable. Hanging out with you is knowledge. Okay, so these three show up: Professor X, Magneto, and Apocalypse, or A, in that whole symbol thing. One of the guys there actually asks him, "Hey, what do I call you?" And he's like, Apocalypse. Is that, I have many names, but none of them are fit for your lips. Apocalypse will do just nicely. Wow, okay then. And that's pretty much what this guy said. Anyway, Davos is where there's a whole bunch of rich guys hanging out talking about how to try and help the world. Yeah. And this one guy who's actually from one of the Nordic countries, one of the Scandinavian countries, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, and Greenland. He goes and he says to these guys, like, you guys are sitting here talking about this stuff like you're the rulers of the world, saying, oh, well, do this charity and that charity and all these different things where, and the tax cuts. And, that's basically what you're saying. You're acting like you're the emperors of the world. No, here's an idea. Pay your taxes. That's all you have to do. Pay your taxes. Pay your fair share of taxes. And then all of a sudden these what do you call it, benefits will spread out into the world. And it's like, holy crap, that was a really solid, good moment right there. Now, granted, we do live in America, at least, we live in a place where taxes doesn't really do a whole lot for it. We spend a whole lot on taxes. We don't really get a whole lot because of our taxes. And we get taxed at a really high rate over here. I'm mostly saying this stuff because there's this guy, Young Ripa, who he doesn't look that young. That'd be like me calling myself Young Professor. No, we're not young anymore. Anyway, maybe he is young. I don't know. But anyway, he's apparently he classifies himself as a libertarian. I'm telling you right now, America and Canada are the only two places where you can really have solid libertarians because of the crappy way that our tax dollars are shown. How does that relate to the comics? Well, you just simply need to ask Magneto about that. There are a lot of comments in here. If you remember in the previous X-Men issue, Apocalypse says something that is amazing. He says the fall of any empire begins with one hungry belly. one poor person who's hungry, because this shows that your empire really isn't all that it's cracked up to be, you know? So it's a big deal. It's an amazing deal. I freaking love that moment. We get a whole lot more moments in here with Magneto. And Magneto, he's not afraid to talk some trash. He flat out says, like, if this were the old me, I'd have just come in, I'd have taken all your weapons, turned them against you, and jacked your ass up. Like, he does not hold back very much in this. He makes blatant and open threats. Professor X is trying to be cool. He even says, he's like, I haven't lost my dream. I still love all you guys. But make no mistake, you mess with me again, I'm a straight up whoop. I mean, he actually, like, those moments where somebody takes off their I don't like wearing shades anyway, because I always like the idea that you can see my eyes and we're cool. You know what I'm saying? But you can't help but to watch those movies where somebody wears shades the whole time. You know what I'm saying? You can't see the dude's eyes, and all of a sudden he takes off his shades to look right at you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shoot, man, this guy looks like he means business. He got that 1,000-yard stare. You know what I'm saying? 10,000-yard stare. Anyway, um, Professor X does that, and it's not quite that hateful, baleful look that you would get so often. It's just a guy who's simply saying, "Listen, man, check this out. This is me without the helmet, all right? And I'm telling you straight up, I would love for my dream to work, but you have taught me that my dream will not work yet. So we're going to prime you." Magneto basically says, we are going to cripple your economy. That's what we're going to do. Reggie Simmons, love you, man. In fact, you know what? I need an X character to do this. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause this for a little bit, and Professor X from the 90s is going to come over. And he's gonna walk. It's like he's got the little blanket on him, so I'm gonna take that blanket off. And it's gonna be like prosperity gospel. He's gonna get out and he's gonna start doing oh, hey, 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 hey. Oh, Benny Hinn, I'm gonna fall down. Oh no, I get back up and I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So oh shoot, you know what that makes it? That makes it my first super chat of the new year. Well, crap, man. That honor's lost to everybody else from this point on. Next year, try again. Anyway, um, what do you call it? So yes, much appreciated, much appreciated. Um, there's a lot that Magneto really says in this. He gets right into this, man. Happy New Year to everybody. Because I see a couple people saying Happy New Year in there. Basically, there's a hit team sent out, also 2 hit teams specifically, that are sent to take out the X-Men. But one of them, Professor X specifically, one of them adjusts the thing on his head. He's like, it's really itchy. It's like, well, what are you doing? That's the only thing that keeps those guys out of our heads. Because if you remember, in the comic books, in the Marvel comic books at least, pretty much all of your telepaths are mutants. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a whole lot of non-mutant telepaths, right? So he moves and he's like, you didn't break skin contact, did you? He's like, no, I don't think so. He did. He did. Because Professor X is just like, oh, yeah, hey, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Scott, so I just got this thing, like this guy, yeah, this jackass, his plan, guy here, guys here, and they got a whole team with them. And yeah, so go out there and kick some butt. Now, it looks like Scott's actually kicking all the butt in this, because there are 2 bodyguards here. One is Scott. The other one is the obstinate bodyguard for Professor X and Magneto and Apocalypse, but mostly Professor X. But yeah, and anytime these guys go out, this guy's going to be there too. You may recognize him. His name is Gorgon, and he is so unbelievably badass in this book, dudes. Holy crap, dudes and dudettes! This guy, he's straight up just there. There's a scene in here. You know what? You could actually, I'm on the scene. You can see it right there. There are appendages just laying on the ground that he chopped up. You can see down here also, like, people just jacked up, body parts all over the place. And he's like, just for the sake of conversation, I was being merciful in this particular foray. And I'm like, oh, wow. Just wow. So yeah, Scott does most of the dirty work for the one team, and Gorgon takes out the other team. If I had to make one solid complaint about this comic book, it's that I really wish they would have shown more of Gorgon. Now, it would have been more bloody. They probably would have had to make this like NC-17 or something like that. But dude, I want to see Gorgon because we just don't see enough of Gorgon. So he talked a lot of trash to this one dude, and it worked. But I would really have liked to have seen him just straight up, pull out the sword and just go crazy and just start tearing people up. You know what I'm saying? Even the way it was drawn, it looked like he only had the one sword. You couldn't see the other sword until you see that he's got the bloody sword in his hand and he never unsheathed the other one that you were looking at the entire time. So it's a weird way to draw that. I don't know if they meant to do something with that. Paula, hello, I love you. I love Paula. And when Paula goes and says something about a sloppy second, that's just freaking funny. Um, shoot, what is? Let's see. So I kind of feel like it should be an X-Men character. I kind of. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me pull Endgame Thanos down, and we're gonna do a Warlock dance. That's right, the Build-A-Figure Warlock. All right. Hello, self friend. It's good to see you. Hello, self friend. A boogie doogie doo. There we go. So, and I'm just keep him right up here for a hot minute. I love my Warlock figure. So anyway, Happy New Year to you too, Paula, and everybody in the chat. So, hey, kitty, hey, girl. Okay, come on up for the new year. I know you want to be in the video also. So, um, basically the three tenets of capitalism. Dude, this book gets wicked because they realize that one of the people at this table are the ones that actually sent. The people at this table are all the people who did not sign a treaty with Krakoa. And this is like another attempt, not a last attempt, another attempt to get them to sign. The closest to signing is actually Wakanda. I like that. That's cool. I do want Wakanda to eventually sign it. To me, it only makes sense that they would. What do you call it? Especially since Namor is not a part of that, But it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe that's the thing that Namor was talking about. When you're ready to be what you're acting like you are, maybe Namor will be a part of that. Anyway, I've got a very wicked theory that I'm gonna impart after I'm finished with these two books. So anyway, they reveal which person at the table was actually the person who sent all of this stuff. But the whole process here is basically just that you can see right here when Professor X actually takes off the helmet to stare the dudes in the face, like he's smiling and he's just the nicest guy. But you see at the end, the art, gorgeous on this. He gets firm. He gets straight firm with them. Like it's like dad talking to these guys. Um, let's see. Can I actually find it? I don't want to go out of my way to try and find this stuff. Anyway, they start talking about all the captain hierarchy. It's not exactly the most important thing in the world to me, but it is what it is. Um, Magneto just eating their steak and talking about beating the crap out of these guys, but like, and not even really through innuendo. It's amazing. They also talk about the different collapses that have happened. There's this thing about the end of the Bronze Age that in order to get lead, the people at the time, since there was a dark age in the Roman Empire, all throughout Europe, they lost a lot of technology, including how to mine lead, how to get lead. They didn't know how to get lead anymore. So the lead that those people had was found in the ruins of Rome until they could redevelop that technology. I didn't know that. I'm saying? Maybe it's not true. I don't know, but that's interesting. I did not know that. Okay, cool. I love finding little things like this. So, oh, did Gorgon kill anyone? That's a good question. No, he didn't. In fact, when the X-Men are beating these people up, no, they're taking out limbs. Storm, using a vibranium knife, actually takes out somebody's eye in the Marauders book. I'm going to get to that too. You can maim humans, but the tenet is thou shalt not kill. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you call it? They're talking about what caused that collapse of the empires and whatnot. And what's it matter? It's in the past. Oh, I hate when people say that, but it makes sense, right? It makes sense that people would say that because a lot of people say that. So Apocalypse says you should care about why that collapse happened. And he's like, okay, well, what, and I lived during that time. I know what caused that collapse. He's like, all right, fine, tough guy. What caused that collapse? It's the final panel right here. Can you see what it says? Me. One word, one 2-letter, single syllable word. Holy crap. That is the mic drop moment. Like the apple just dropped, you know what I'm saying? This is the mic drop moment. Like Apocalypse was there on New Year's holding this mic up until midnight. All of a sudden, 3, 2, 1, bitch. Like he just that was amazing. I loved that. This was a solid issue. All right. A solid issue. Definitely enjoyable. No complaints. None. None. Let's talk about the Marauders, issue number 5. This is always a fun book, consistently a fun book. And you're basically seeing Bobby Drake, Iceman. And do I have my Iceman up here? No, I don't. I have 2 Iceman figures, and I don't have any of them up. Anyway, and Emma Frost's brother, Christian, and they're just hanging out. They go up to the. I love this, and at the same time, it makes me sad. They go up to the people who made this book: Jerry Duggan, Matty O'Lally, Lucas Werner, and Federico Blee. What do you call it? They just casually, at the behest of Emma Frost, casually go up to the polar north, and Iceman's like, "Hey, you want to see all the powers I've got?" Whoosh. And he refreezes everything, and now we can continue doing the carbon emissions because he just refroze the Arctic, and it's like, oh, that is so freaking sad. We need an Iceman in this world, man. We need an Iceman in the world. And I don't care if he's written by Sin of Grace or not. We need an Iceman in this world. So this was pretty wicked. Um, the state of public toilets, and all of a sudden I've got a George Michael thought in my head. Um, I love me some George Michael. Okay, so this issue of Marauders is called "A Time to Sow," a time to reap, a time to sow. Like the Birds, man, absolute one of the best songs ever. What's cool about that time, turn, turn, turn. That's actually the first 8 verses of Ecclesiastics in the Old Testament of the Bible. So I love that. And yes, it's pronounced Ecclesiastics. Now I can't pronounce it right. Rewind, you'll see how it's pronounced. Um, this had a lot of fun moments in here. I don't know what Shaw is doing, Sebastian Shaw is doing, but he's genuinely messing with some people. All right, he's got some serious backwater deals going on because he's going through the. He's like, okay, so I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take this interesting trip around here and do such and such. And the milkmaid journey, the women's work journey is here, so you guys can do that. They just outvote him. Like I'm actually enjoying seeing them screwing with him, and apparently Shinobi Shaw, the Black Bishop, at this point, he's also enjoying this. Like they are just straight wrecking people here. What do you call it? So these two, Emma and Kitty, are teamed up perfectly as the Red and White Queen, respectively, and they're outvoting everything they did. I was like, oh, you want to do this? Cool. So we're going to do it this way instead. And you can't even trick them because she's a mind reader. It's like, I will use reverse psychology. No, you won't. I will use telepathy. Telepathy wins. Rock, paper, scissors every time. So anyway, there's a really great moment here that just it was a great moment, especially if you read back in like the Hellions issues way back in the day when Kitty Pryde says, I wonder what would have happened if I would have joined you instead of going with Professor X. And you kind of got to wonder, yeah, what would have happened? Realistically, obviously, it would have been a very different thing because they weren't making Emma Frost to be the good guy back then. You know what I'm saying? It was actually an evil team and whatnot. Like, essentially, it is what it is. In this particular case, yes, this issue was actually called Serafina. The next issue of this will be called so issue number 5 of X-Men will be called Serafina. Anyway, so what do you call it? This is great because they actually have a moment, and you might think that it's just Kitty who's being emotional about it. It's not true. Look at look at Emma's arm. She's actually hugging right back. And like she tries to play it off as she's sipping her, champagne and whatnot, but nah, they actually had a really great moment in here, and I enjoyed the hell out of that. Like that was a good moment. Anyway, Sebastian Shaw goes off into the portal to Madripoor. He's stuck going to Madripoor, and I don't know that he necessarily hates the idea of doing it, but it is what it is. This. Make sure you read this part here. The top secret eyes only access. There's a lot of stuff in there that I don't understand, like this Five Eyes Nation thing to be named never. Yeah, we're gonna find out about this in the next issue. I'm positive of that. Maybe it'll be a couple issues from now, but I think that like Duggan's a smart guy. I think that if he wants it to stay relevant in our minds, he'll start doing it immediately in the next issue. Like he'll drop a name and then explain it in the next issue. Case in point, the Hominis Verendi. I remember looking that up, trying to figure out what the heck all that was. They explain it here exactly what they wanted it to be. Man must be revered and feared. Man, humans, not mutants. Okay, I get it. I see what you're doing here. I like it. I like it. So over in Madripoor, this team, the Hominis Verendi, and we've already seen these guys. That's these kids, these people in kids' bodies, these freaky people. You know them, those that we've already seen before. That's them. Oh, and that's the scene with Storm stabbing out this dude's eye with a vibranium knife. She's like, "I'll take that knife back, by the way. It's vibranium." I love that connection. I love that connection. Anyway, Hominis Verendi, they give the chain of command for the black and white teams, houses, so to speak. Jeez, that's a wicked glare. Anyway, they don't have the knights named yet, but they do have their bishops and everything like that. So Wilhelmina Kensington, interesting. Manuel Endiqui, okay, and their white bishop is Chen Zhao. And then on black side, the king is Cade Kilgore. The bishop is Maximilian Frankenstein. I feel like I should know that name, but I didn't bother to look up that name. Anyway, wow. So in Madripoor, Hominis Verendi, they've started something like, we're going to capture this boat full of people trying to, the Black King's boat. They were making a delivery, and then they were going to grab some mutants. So the drug delivery, and then grab some mutants, and then let's get the heck out of here, right? Nah, not so. They wind up turning around and going back, trying to go back home. But once that trade's been made and they got the mutants in there, where this is a cargo they don't want to lose. They can lose the drugs, they can't lose the cargo of the mutants. That's a bad thing. All mutant lives matter. I see where they're going with this. So these knuckleheads show up with the suits and whatnot, and it turns out that these were bought from Russia. Okay, so the Russians have anti-mutant technology. They're going to use it one night. It's probably the Gremlin. I bet you it's the Gremlin doing that. Anyway, he could be back. You don't know. It's Marvel. So, what do you call it? But meanwhile, while that's happening, any mutant that's in the city, they want them wrecked. They want them destroyed. So Hominis Verendi says to all the people, all the kids and whatnot, like kids, child soldiers and whatnot, all grabbed together. And yes, speaking Malay, they're like, listen, they told us that we have to go and find a mutant, kill the mutant, bring proof that we killed the mutant, and then Hominis Verendi will make us rich. Bishop's kind of cool in this. He's like, I'm going to pay you to go home. Okay, so he gives him a fat stack of money. That's an interesting choice. It's like, I'm going to pay you not to kill someone. Now, what happens when all that money is spent? What does he do with that money now? So I think that was an interesting decision. I'm not going to say it's wrong because I've never explored the psychology of this. I only just read this comic book today. I didn't really think too much into it, but is what it is, my peeps. It is what it is. That's a weird moment where you're paying somebody to not kill somebody. Anyway, as far as everybody else is concerned, towards the end, Kitty does this cool thing where she actually phases the ship. Hey, if she could phase a gigantic space bullet that was aimed towards Earth, she can phase a ship, no problem. I don't want to hear about it, all right? And then this happens. So this looks at these guys work for Hominis Verendi, right? This looks like Orca. I could be wrong, but that looks like Orca, all right? That's a major threat if he's written correctly. It's Jerry Duggan. I think he will be. Whoever this is, I think he will be. But I think that's Orca. Now, you see the guy in the background? You all know exactly who that is, right? That's Hate Monger. There have been at least 4 versions of Hate Monger. One of those versions was a clone of Adolf Hitler. Yeah, that was a Fantastic Four thing. I cannot applaud the choice of using, this is the final page. I cannot applaud enough the choice of using hate monger here. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Because this is something that never occurred to me. And it's like, of course, because that's what we do. We divide and conquer. All right. That originally comes from Winston Churchill, but you think about it, this is how it's always done. You always blame the other for the This is what Adolf Hitler himself did. He said, "Oh, the gays, the gypsies, and the Jews. Okay, all of these guys, they're the bad guys. They're the reason why our country is falling apart." Actually, no, the reason why why Germany fell apart in World War I and on until the advent of World War II was because when you guys did lose World War I, not a single enemy boot or a single enemy bomb ever entered Germany. So they right away thought, oh, it's a conspiracy. Why would we lose? We were winning. We were winning. We were winning. How could we possibly lose? How did we give up? It must be a conspiracy. Something happened. You know, so they went and they started believing that no, there's something wrong. On top of that, the Allied forces, not America, Wilson was actually really poignant about, hey, no, let's not pay. What do you call it? Get these guys to overpay because there's got to be the recompense. You got to pay back France and all these countries that you jacked up, during the time. France, most of all, right? Which explains Hitler's anger at France. Says you got to fix this. All right, you got to pay all this money, and it was way too much money. And Woodrow Wilson was like, dude, not cool, not cool. You can't overburden them like this. It's not fair. But Congress was like, we're going to need you to come back. This is back when a president would actually listen to Congress. That hasn't happened in how many, like 2 decades now? Since when does a president listen to Congress, right? Which is supposed to be the will of the people. Anyway, it's the will of the rich now. Anyway, so they say, no, we're not going to get involved in that. You need to come back. Come back home and forget about let Europe deal with Europe. Okay, and that's those two reasons are those two things are the reason why Adolf Hitler was able to come into power, because the people needed somebody, a strong man, to believe in, because their backs were broken, basically. Um, so and what did Hitler do? Right away he started blaming others who weren't responsible for the fall of Germany. He started blaming others, people who didn't have any power. Punch down, don't punch up. America's too strong. The Allied forces are too strong. We need to strengthen ourselves. We need something to unite ourselves so that we can get strong. And the only way we can do that is by punching down, because we're actually weak. And that's exactly how racism works. Go figure. So I like how that was exemplified in here. Both of these books really are thinking man books. They are thinking man's books at this point. I mentioned Young Ripa before because I'm thinking to myself, I would love to have honestly, a pleasant conversation, because this guy's a libertarian. And it's like, dude, America and Canada are the only 2 places in the world right now where I believe that libertarianism could actually take foot, because our tax dollars don't go towards anything positive. So yeah, one of these days, man. Hopefully, maybe he what do you call it? Responds to an email and be like, "Hey," actually sent to his website page. But yes, I would love to have that conversation with him, because the whole thing is happening right now with Sam Cedar and him. Okay, now on to my theory, because all this X-Men stuff, the Dawn of X stuff. Okay, you basically got Krakoa. Krakoa is this giant mutant island that its main thing is it needs to feed off of mutants. And it's got a whole bunch of mutants right now, but since there's so many mutants, they're just feeding off a little tiny bit of that power, right? Just a little tiny bit that's not even noticeable. And in retrospect, in response, Krakoa will give all sorts of good things to the mutants. Whatever you guys need, we're going to help you in any way possible. I wonder, if they ever decide they need to get rid of this Krakoa thing, would it be as easy to just simply say that it was a dream? I remember Giant Size X-Men #1, how all of the original X-Men were stuck on Krakoa. They were all asleep, and they were all thinking, they were all had these implanted thoughts stuck into their brains about how, oh, everything's cool, man, everything's cool. Sleep. You're fine. You're fine. And I wonder if that's not what's happening to all of the mutants right now. Nah, man, you can never die. Even if your enemies jack you up, you can never die. Hey, man, yeah, some of your friends, don't worry about it. They're going to be okay. Hey, man, you've been harassed by the humans for so long because they've got all this power because they're a much larger force. But nah, man, you guys have the power, and I'm going to make you believe that you're actually beating up the humans at this point, that the humans are afraid of you instead of just, the fear of the end of your gun, but the fear of your actual power. Hmm. It's almost like they were all hooked up to the Matrix. Now, why do I very specifically bring up the Matrix? The main reason why I bring this up is because of Kitty Pryde. A big theme in this issue of the Marauders is that these mutants who are hanging out with Kitty Pryde are hanging out with Kitty Pryde because they don't understand why she can't go through the gate. She can't go through the Krakoan gates. She can't automatically learn Krakoan. Interesting. So I'm wondering if she's actually resisting the Matrix, Krakoa, more than everybody else. And that's the reason why she can't go through the gates, because she hasn't fully submitted herself to the idea that at any point this could all just be ended, as though it were like, as simple as ending the age of X-Man, right? About as simple as ending the age of Apocalypse. Maybe in some ways this is actually the age of Krakoa, as opposed to the dawn of X. If it was done right, I would enjoy that. If that's not the case at all, it might be for the better. I don't know. But they literally have every option in the world right now. This could all just be some fairy tale dream. How wicked would that be? So that's just my theory right now. That's the theory I came up while reading these two books that, holy crap, I am impressed, thoroughly impressed. That is all. Let me take a quick look through if you guys got any man, I've been thinking of The Matrix too when I read House and Powers of X. Really, way back then. All right, Martin, you saw it long before I did. Rodimus Hendry. Is that supposed to be like Rodimus Prime? Because that is freaking awesome if it is. If not, it's only partially awesome. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Lord Kid and Boat. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Dun, 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 dun. You know what? I got the Rock right up there. Let me pull down my Rock figure. And I just dropped Braun. That's all right. Braun's a tough guy. Yeah, but don 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 don. The Rock says, and I just dropped Braun. Braun is my favorite Transformer. Braun is my favorite Transformer. Loves me some Braun. So yeah, he fell. So he could take it though. He's tough. He's tough. What else? What else does everybody got? Check out the link, Professor. That's the villain on the last page of Marauders. I don't see a link. I don't see a link. Like, this is what I see. I don't see any link in here. I'm sorry. Maybe if you break up the link, I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. But yeah, I would definitely like to see it. You can just say it if you want. Say the guy's name or something like that, because that's interesting. If you've actually got the guy. Did they try to pot Krakoan in her head this issue? No, they didn't try to put Krakoan in their head. They were talking about it. Emma Frost was talking about it a little bit, but not really ish. Excuse me. Anyway, no, you're one. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they keep on talking about they're going to do that stuff, but they don't ever actually do it. So all of this is like it's fishy, right? It's suspect. I'm going to give it that. It's a little suspect that they don't just do these things. They keep on talking about these things. Cypher's gone for some reason. Cypher's off planet, and we haven't seen that stuff in a while because Brisson's been writing his part of that book, and I guess Hickman is due pretty soon. It's Executioner. Okay, much appreciated. Thank you. Okay. That's not like Executioner song, is it? Okay. Okay. I think I see what they're doing here. Okay, so over here we have got the upcoming books. Next week, Excalibur #5, New Mutants #5, and X-Force #5. So 3 books: Excalibur, New Mutants, and X-Force #5s. All of those #5s. Okay, interesting. I'm looking forward to only reading through, and then most of the time it's only 2 issues per week that are coming out now. Good, good. There was a big, like, dude, I still have not finished all of the books that I was doing before. I'm dying. I still have a couple more books that I've got to get through here. I still have a couple more, like Flash Forward, Ghost Spider, Wonder Woman with Silencer. Hello. Um, Jeff Sub on Conan Serpent War. Basketful. I didn't read my Basketful of Heads yet. I didn't finish Capullo and Snyder's book yet. I didn't finish my Killer Smile. I didn't even finish my Dead Earth. So I didn't get to these yet, and that's crushing my very soul. You know what I'm saying? Because they just put out way too many comics way fast. So last week and this week, very happy that they didn't give us a billion comic books. Much better, much better. So with so many less books, I've actually already done a review for what the heck is it called? Which book did I just do? Oh, Suicide Squad. I just did a review for Suicide Squad. I didn't put it out yet. I'm actually going to put it out. Maybe I'll put it out like tomorrow or after tomorrow because I don't want it to get confused with the books that came out this week. But I liked the book. I liked the book a lot. Definitely go and check that book out. Anyway, so Kate Pryde could be their version of Neo. Yes, 100%. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I think that she could very well be. This version of Neo. He needs to wake up. He just needs to wake up. And in her case, she's trying the hardest. Why? She doesn't believe it. Cynicism, I don't know. But she's trying hard to wake up because she simply can't believe it. That's why she can't get all of these benefits because she's fighting against it so hard. If she wakes up one of these, or they start showing little scenes here and there with her kind of, like opening her eyes to try and see right, that might say something. Also, one complaint I have about the book is that her nose isn't broken in this one. The bandage is gone. Didn't she just re-break it in the previous issue? Or at least, rebusted it? I was really hoping to go several more issues with that bandage on her nose. As weird as it sounds, I love seeing her just like no craps to give, no squirts to give. You know what I'm saying? I'm really enjoying seeing her written and drawn like that. Vibranium knives sound awesome. I know Storm gave Warpath 2 a couple of years ago. Yeah, yes, those are the 2 that he uses. Can somebody the size of Warpath, and they look like machetes to begin with, can they really be considered knives? It's like they're knives to him. What was it? Samwise Gamgee in the end of the Return of the, or excuse me, the Return of the King movie. But in the book, he was like, yeah, this is actually a knife, one of the goblins' knives that they stole. But for me, it's like a sword, saying like that's what it feels like in reverse. Will you do a review for Conan Serpent War #2? Well, yes, I will. I have it. I showed it. I have it. I just didn't do the review yet, but I will do my best to get to all of those since I have so few comic books this week and the week before. Well, 2 weeks anyway. Yes, I'm going to try and get to all of those books. They're going to come up late. I hate putting up books late. I genuinely hate that, but I guess it's better than not putting the books up at all. Hector Jalapeno. I saw that name before, man. That's a cool name. I like that. Wonder if her being drunk all the time fits into things. It could. It very well could. Just her not believing things. Hello, Rose Tepe. I'm imagining it's Tepe. Thanks for the reviews. My pleasure, Martin. This is generally what I love doing. Okay, guys. So I am out. I've got to do a review. 3:00. You've got a half-hour review coming to you. Oh man, Braun just fell again? Seriously? Okay, he's tough, but he's not that tough. Jeez. Anyway, I got a half hour. It's like 28 minutes long. The Donny Cates Thor book. This is an amazing book. And then after that, I just finished reading. Here it is, Hawkeye Freefall. Darn it, I'm really upset. I am honestly hurt. I'm not upset. I'm hurt that Matthew Rosenberg ignored my request to have a conversation with me, last Saturday, my podcast, I really want to have the conversation with him about this book before it came out, try and advertise it for him. I'm booked this Saturday, so I can't help you, bro. Can't help you. But yeah, whatever. It's still an amazing book. whether he comes on to promote the book or not, I'm more than happy to do it myself. That was a really fun book. Anyway, but I'll be talking all of that with the in the actual review. So I'm out, guys. Happy New Year. And you know what? Stop for a second. Every single person who is here, whether you came for a second and then left or not, let me just tell you something right now. All the love that I have to give, boom, yours for like this entire time and at least another 10 minutes. All right. All the love that I have to give, boom, to you guys. Because wow, it's New Year's Eve. Y'all could be doing anything that you wanted to, and you decide to come over here and stop off at my rinky dink little channel and listen to me talk about spoilers for the Dawn of X books. From my heart directly to you, you guys are especially awesome tonight. All right. Only about 33, 32 people on at this particular moment. Yeah, the best 33, 32 people in the world right now in my mind. So seriously, God bless every one of you guys, whether you believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know any higher compliment to give. God bless you guys. You guys are freaking amazing. So, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed. Thank you guys.